Hey guys, we're going to give everybody just a few more minutes. Looks like we've got the count keeps going up. So I'm going to give it another minute or two and we'll get started in just a second. Okay, so it's about 2 minutes past now. I think we've kind of leveled off on people coming in, and we are recording the session, so we'll share this for everybody after this. I'm Ken Tolson. I'm the president of the networks division for our platform segment of the business, and that involves all of our catastrophe services operations and our network services such as We Go Look and several other network services around the globe. Just a few ground rules for today. We are going to be giving away a few prizes based on the the questions that come in. So we really want this to be as much of a dialogue as possible. So we're going to hold the one-way dialogue or talking as much as possible to a minimum. We've got a series of the team is here to speak to you today, talk about each of their particular verticals. But I do want to encourage you to submit questions. There's a question icon in the top right of your screen that you can click on, and we will begin publishing those questions as they come in. And I'll feed those questions to parts of our team to answer them. Now, of course, if this isn't your forum for submitting questions, you can feel free. There will be contact information for each of us on one of the slides that we'll share in a few minutes, and you'll have each of our email addresses and phone numbers as well. So I do encourage you to reach out if this isn't necessarily the forum that you'd want to submit a question, but I do encourage it here because obviously what's probably on your mind is on a lot of other people's minds as well. So we want to encourage you to share those questions, and we love to get them and respond to them. Just real quickly, I want to cover all 4 items, and then I'm going to hand it off to Robert Simpson. But first and foremost, I have to speak to the sort of resiliency and just the job that's been done over the past year coming out of this pandemic. The COVID-19, the efforts of our frontline employees, all of our adjusting personnel, our desk personnel, our front lines, support staff, management team, everything. I couldn't be more proud of the job that's been done over the past year. We're the vaccines are starting to finally get out into the marketplace. We're at about 25% vaccinated in the US now. I'm really hopeful that this May window that we can get to this 80-90% level in the US to get some herd immunity, we get back to normal to some degree. I know for many of you who've been on the front line, it has been just like normal. You've just been enduring this, but I just want to give you a sincere thank you from this leadership team and the Crawford leadership team for the jobs that you do every single day. There's never been a better definition of what an essential worker is than the jobs that we do to help restore people's, their lives, their businesses back to normal after they've had something bad to them. So I just want to express my sincere thanks to each of you. 2, I want to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, which is technology. We continue to double down and invest on technology. We're coming out of we're in our 3rd quarter now of our enterprise relationship with Hover. I actually just met with the Hover team today. They're introducing a new interior scoping tool that will be based on a LiDAR-based capture method, which is the iPhone 12 Max. We're looking at ways to support their beta testing of that product itself, but we standardized on their exterior tool. The difference is that we standardized on it. We use it on every claim. We don't use it just on exterior claims, but it is absolutely a productivity enhancer, a safety enhancer. It's a way to help our adjusters get their job done, and it's a part of your deployment on every single event now. So don't hesitate to use that tool to its fullest. We're getting huge compliments on the product quality. And I'll talk a little bit in a minute about the roof inspection piece as well, which we also standardized it on. Exact Pro, we're an Exact Pro license, so anytime we roll out an Exact license to any of you, you're eligible to use Pro Mobile on your iPad if you have one. So I would encourage you to take advantage of that. And finally, Renovo and the mobile aspects of Renovo. We're always looking. We have a great partner in the Primus team that basically has done all the development on Renovo from the beginning. They're involved in a number of key technology initiatives that we have. They have done a phenomenal job of building out the mobile piece itself. Today, we have about 1,600 active mobile users of Renovo, split a little heavier toward Android versus iOS. But we have about 2,100, 2,200 active users, either using web or mobile, that interact with Renovo on a regular basis. That's the number of active, unique users since the first of this year. We want that number to double or even triple, because we want the user experience in Renovo and your mobile tools to be, to help you do your job, not just help you see your payroll or help you manage your engagement and sign up for work and accept assignments. We want to make that an integral part of you doing your job. So we're looking for ways to continue to enhance that platform. So do let us hear from you about features that you think are missing or you see elsewhere that we can use to enhance that platform. The team in Texas has been helping us write out possible things around scheduling and contact tools and things that we're experimenting in that space. So we'd love to hear from you on that. Just recently, we had an event in the San Francisco Bay where we actually identified several adjusters to put to work because they had their location services identified in Renovo, and we actually tapped them on the shoulder and put a couple of them to work, helping us support that Mancat event. Third thing, pay. We want to make the payroll and getting your compensation, we want to take it off the table in terms of any kind of friction. We fully recognize that we've had some processes in place that haven't been as efficient as they need to be or as accurate as they need to be. We want to be the absolute smoothest, easiest to do business with, easiest to work for when it comes to payroll and pay execution. So we watch it on a daily basis. We look at every single transaction that goes out. We monitor it very closely, but we know it's an important part of one of those basic fundamentals you have to get right out of the gate. So we're paying very close attention to that. I know you know this. The team has been working very hard on this, but we're going to continue to get better. We'd also like to hear from you if there are other ways. We're using a lot of ACH and transfer. We do want to get into more of a digital payments platform eventually, but I'd love to hear from you on that as well, about ways we can enhance pay other than just paying you more. I know everybody wants to make more. And then finally, CIS, I talked about it briefly, my fourth topic. Crawford Inspection Services. We're in 8 states today. That includes our ladder assist and roofing inspection network, and now interior inspections are a component of that. This is a 1099 network built off of our infrastructure that We Go Look owns, and we continue to expand it. We're in 8 states on ladder assist and roof inspections today. We'll be in 20 by the end of the year. We went live just recently to the public. It was an internal solution only while it was in its infancy, but it's ready for prime time now. We have about 1,200 people, I think, in the network right now, and we continue to onboard and grow that network every single day. So I would encourage you to check it out. You can live in both networks. You can be a member of our W2 community. Some of you already are. And a part of that network in Georgia, North Carolina, Louisiana, Texas, a couple others. I can't remember them all, but I want to encourage you to check it out. It has its own unique website, and we'll publish those URLs for those sites. If you're not familiar with them, you can look them up. You can Google them, Crawford Inspection Services, and they pop right up. So I'm going to pause here. I see we have 5 questions out there in the open now. You can vote on these questions by giving up the thumbs up in the pane, and it will prioritize them and move them to the top of the list. So do submit questions if you dare, and then like I said, there's going to be a few prizes around those given away after this event. So I'm going to pause there, and I'm going to hand it over to Robert.
Thanks, Ken. My name is Robert Simpson. I'm the president of Carrier Services based here in Allen, Texas, and I'm very excited to be here and have a conversation with so many from our roster. We have so much going on, and it's such a great time to be part of Crawford & Company. The deployment opportunities continue to grow, and we have recently completed construction on our brand new facility in Allen, Texas. I do not believe anyone who's been in the building can say it's not a great place to work. We can share some of the photos and give you a feel for what we're talking about. Alyssa, can you scroll through some of the photos? As you can see, yes, it's new, which is cool, but it's also state of the art with over 675 workstations with dual 28-inch monitors. We have multiple meeting rooms, we have multiple training rooms, and an atrium complete with a regulation pool table, shuffleboard, foosball to allow for a short break whenever you need it. And you're working hard and you need just to get away and ease your mind for a little bit. It's a great place to go. We continue to expand our program and training opportunities from adjusting fundamentals to Exactware to client-specific certifications, along with national flood training development programs. The opportunities for deployments have never been better. Flood, desk, field, to include short-term, long-term, and all of those types of assignments exist. Career advancement and staff positions are also available. And we encourage you to take a look, note our contact information that'll be provided at the end. And if you're interested in any of these, make sure that you share that and make sure that we know it. We are definitely excited. There's tons of opportunity that's going on, and we want you to be a part of it. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Buddy Sheets and ask him to say a few words in anticipation of some additional questions. Buddy, you might be muted.
I was muted. My name is Buddy Sheets, and I'm the Director of CAT Operations here at Crawford Catastrophe Services. And what that means is I work with clients outside of Allstate and State Farm to determine their specific needs so we can put the right adjuster with the right account. Now, whether you've got desk experience, whether you've got experience as a field or flood adjuster, quality assurance, or maybe even a claims manager at one point, we have roles for you. As Robert said, it's a pretty exciting time to be part of Crawford Catastrophe Services. For new adjusters coming in, we have our training programs that are put on in Allen, Texas, and over in Atlanta, Georgia. And we're talking to new clients all the time. We're also seeing a lot of work coming from clients, some of our older clients, due to our performance on some of the storms lately. Some of the clients that we are looking to staff for are Citizens of Florida. Now we have 4 contracts with them. The desk adjusting, the CAT field adjusting, the inspection only program, and the non-weather water teams. Great contract to work for. If you're a commercial adjuster, we have a commercial contract with Texas Wind Insurance. We've been doing a lot of field work this year for the Hartford, a new client, GeoVera, where we have desk and field work for them. Doing a lot of work for farmers. As you heard a few minutes ago, we have Allstate, and you will hear about State Farm. Now, what this all equates to is a lot of volume for us. That's going to keep you working all year. But whatever account you go to work for, you can know that Crawford's going to provide you the support you need to be successful in the field. From field managers in the field doing ride-alongs with you to help rooms. If you worked with us during Uri, you know that we had a help room in Dallas, Texas, and one in Houston. We're also going to provide dedicated QA staff to review your files. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're giving you the tools you need to be successful. Again, this is an exciting time to be part of Crawford Catastrophe, and I look forward to working with you this year. Tom?
Hey everybody, my name is Tom Brocksmith. I'm the Director of Catastrophe Claims with the focus of State Farm client. We are very excited about where we are going with State Farm and where we've been. We've built the relationship with State Farm and continue to build it, where our deployments have really are 10 times better than they were just 2 years ago. We are in the auto segment of State Farm as well as the fire. And whenever you hear the word fire with State Farm, that's a reference to property. residential and commercial. So we've got a lot of great things going on. We have a lot of training to support our adjusters on deployment and prior to deployment and after deployment. You do have to have a State Farm certification to work catastrophe claims with State Farm. One of the things we do, we put you through on the fire side. It's a 2-day course. You pass, you get your certificate, and then we shuffle you over to a 3-day Adjuster Basic 101 State Farm specific course, where you get into basic adjusting via State Farm and their ecosystem. We start to teach you how to use their tools that they have, their systems, etc. So, and then once you are onboarded and you're ready for deployment, there's some things you can do to help market yourself. Obviously, the more licenses you have, the better off you are. We partnered up with Hague Engineering recently and housed a wind hail residential course on our learning system, which is kmcondemand.com. It's $129 value. We have it available for you if you're on our roster for $69. And this is the exact course that State Farm has actually asked Hague to customize for them. So all of their claims staff, from re-inspectors to managers to adjusters, have to be privy to this course, and they operate within the confounds of that course. Once you pass that course, we have another course that we bring you over to, which basically helps you apply what you learn with Hague into the State Farm ecosystem. We have several virtual classes and some in-person classes that we're starting to start back up with the pandemic loosening up and the vaccination coming. So once you're on deployment, we really pride ourselves in our leadership team. We've got tons of experience on our leadership team. We have ex-State Farm staff managers with 34+ years experience to all kinds of lateral experience from roofing and construction. All of them have State Farm specific experience, but the more important thing here is the leadership that we have. They are totally invested into your success. So as an adjuster, we kind of have a no man left behind outlook. We hold one-on-one coaching courses when needed. We have weekly training sessions once you're deployed. Our head trainer holds weekly virtual training sessions on certain specifics, whatever's trending. Several different courses. We have a help desk that's available when you're deployed to call if you can't get in touch with your trainer, which usually really isn't an issue, but there's a help desk available for you. We have a file review team, which although it supports the review team that State Farm has, it has a byproduct of a built-in coaching session. So anything that you might miss, we locate and coach you on how to fix that. So we're pretty excited about where we're going and where we've been. And with that, I'll pause and hand it over to Tom Melton.
Thank you, Tom. My name is Tom Melton. I'm the Director of International CAT and also the Mancat here in the United States. For all of you, welcome this evening, and I wanted to just talk a little bit about our Mancat, which is man-made catastrophes that happen here in the U.S. To give you some idea, we handle explosions, pipeline bursts, railroad cars derailing, truck overturns, oversprays from the refineries. So you can see from just that short list that, and you see it in the news, we have quite a few events that happen throughout the year. Some of our clients, Exxon, Chevron, Kirby, Enbridge, Kinder Morgan, all of those clients we've done business with this past year. And so we continue to grow our Mancat business. And as a result of that, we're needing adjusters who are interested in that field. It's a little bit different, from being a standard adjuster. We look more for adjusters who can investigate and find out, whether the event actually contributed to an issue that they were having. We started training in 2019 and 2020 at our CAT conferences with some hands-on experience. And this year we'll probably do a virtual here shortly. we plan on sending out an email blast here probably in the next week or 2 weeks to gauge the interest of those attending tonight as to wanting to work the Mancats. We'd appreciate you responding to that, and look forward to having you guys join the Mancat team. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. So we have 22 questions so far. So this is awesome. I'm really glad to see the number of questions and the kind of interest. And we've got, I'm going through from the most, like I said, you are voting them up. We have a question, actually, I think that the heaviest one voted so far is actually one I think that Tom Melton, you just answered about the focus on, there's always a lot of focus on natural disasters, and rightfully so. I understand that Crawford plays a major role in environmental losses. And I think we kind of addressed that. I think, Tom, you just addressed that, but can you speak to how one would get involved in this side of the business? So, you know, if you could just repeat the sort of engagement piece, because there's a couple of questions on this list about how do I get involved, or if I'm stuck in the application process.
Yeah, so it's fairly easy to get involved in the Mancat business. Again, I just mentioned we're going to send an email blast out to our roster, and that's going to give us our first indication. You know, the Mancat space is, as I mentioned, is a little bit different from being a regular adjuster. You know, we'll go out to an event. You know, we may have 100 claims. We may have 8,000 claims. One event we had down in Louisiana, we had 8,000 claims. We had 81 adjusters handling that event. And the nice thing about the Mancat is that we have inside positions, we have field positions, we need reviewers, we have desk people handling claims. So a lot of times we will split the teams and have an inside team that will get the claims, start working them, and then, you know, push them to the field if we find that we actually need a field inspection in order to conclude that claim. We write checks out in the field, you know, with the client's approval. So, you know, we're on the ground. We are, you know, meeting the needs of the people that got damaged by one of the events, and we're putting money in their hands so that they can get their lives turned back around and get back on track. So the training that we do is instrumental in your joining our Mancat team. So again, look forward to having you join us.
Thanks, Tom. You know, it's a great story around Mancat, because we don't just provide the adjusting power. We will stand up websites. We will bring the call center to bear. You know, the PCL event we had on the Outer Banks, North Carolina, we had a potential 80,000 claimants on that. We ended up with about 5,000, I think, out of the thing actually, but we responded so quickly. But we were able to scale up operations and bring all of the solution to bear, not just the adjusting piece itself, but everything around it, to keep that from becoming a class action suit actually. So there's tremendous opportunity in that space, but it really comes down to our ability to deploy, to execute, to pull those solutions together really quickly. You know, we brought accountants into that event. We really do. It speaks to the diversity of our roster to be able to have all of those skill sets to be able to bring to bear into a solution like that. So that's a really, really good story. Couple of questions here. I'm going to take to Ben Mandel. Do we have Xactimate discounted rates? And the answer is yes. You know, we prefer, unlike some others in the industry, we prefer to control the Xactimate process and actually issue licenses. We want to be able to harness the power of the buying power with Xactware to hopefully eventually drive, you know, better purchasing power with them. So we want to also then control it as a part of the execution. We're actually doing quite a bit of development right now to make it so that we can execute both the email address delivery and the Xactimate license at the point in time in deployment, and then make sure that we take that risk on. We do discount that from our standard rate. from our contract with Exact where we're not allowed to publish that rate, but we do discount fairly deeply off of that. And then we have loyalty programs and performance programs that on a manager by manager basis, they can elect to then waive that fee of passing it on. The key for us is keeping you deployed so that we don't have to turn on and turn off that Xactimate license. We'd rather you get it from us and just stay deployed with us, but we know that's not always possible. But yes, we do indeed have, we do offer discounted rates. And then it's, like I said, we have loyalty and performance plans where we will absorb 100% of the cost. And you should talk to your manager about that. And I'll take this next question too about when is the next CAT conference? It's been voted up quite heavily. So, you know, COVID, it required that we cancel the 2 years ago, in 19, we had was our last successful conference, and it was actually right at, 2020, it was right at the beginning of the COVID environment. So we were like, our colleagues at Exactware always remind me that we kind of shut the economy down with that conference in Dallas, which was a very successful conference, and we're absolutely committed to doing it again. We've actually already committed to the Orlando location that we had contracted for this year to do it in a follow-up year. Our focus this year is going to be, as you've seen with some of the people that we brought on board and Jeff Conrad and the training team itself, what we're focused on right now is while we can't gather in large numbers pre-hurricane season this year, we're doubling down on training. We're doubling down on these type of live events that we will be in front of you regularly so that we can hear from you. And then we're looking for other ideas until we can get back into that annual conference cycle, which we expect to resume next year. So look for that. We're absolutely committed to doing that. We know others in this space have elected not to do those conferences on an annual basis. Some still are. We were at NACA this year in Orlando, and we'll continue to support those events as well. We're already registered for next year's event. I believe it's in Vegas, but we're looking forward to that. But we will continue to be a part of that conference, and we will continue to smile. Our goal is to be bigger, obviously continue to get bigger and bigger than NACA. We already think we are, but we expect to grow this conference even bigger and bigger and bigger. So next question is, how long is the State Farm certification good for? And I think, Tom Brocksmith, that's a perfect one for you.
The State Farm certification is good forever. I have seen some of the certifications have an expiration date on it from different IA firms. I have a spoiler alert. State Farm doesn't care. Once you're certified, you stay certified for the rest of your life. And I see another question here. I'll take it. Does the Hague certificate? Does a Hague give you a certification? It does give you a certification, and also we do have a CE credit for Georgia. And I spoke with our LMS manager right before the call to see if we've got any, and we're working towards getting more states involved. Right now, we're working towards getting Texas and Florida for the CE credit. Should be coming to us soon, but right now we do have a CE credit for that Hague certification in the state of Georgia, if that is your home license.
And there's one more question about State Farm certification. Is it needed to deploy?
It is needed to deploy. Now let's, and I get down in the weeds just a little bit. If you're working a catastrophe on a catastrophe deployment, you do have to have that State Farm certification, either auto, if it's going to be an auto deployment, or property. And again, they use the word fire in place of property. Now, if it's a daily assignment, you do not need to be certified. Obviously, we get more deployments through CAT, and we encourage you to get that certification. It will help you on any type of deployment. But yeah, you do need a cert for CAT.
Excellent. So here's another one. I've been through your boot camp training class. What's next? How do I keep in touch about opportunities? Robert, why don't you take that one?
Sure, and thanks, Ken, and thanks for the question. I think there's a couple of things we can do, and we would recommend in order to stay involved. First of all, make sure that you complete the application process. A lot of the folks that go through the boot camp are new to the Crawford, and we just need to make sure that you have completed that application process. It's not just the application. There's additional follow-up documents that come as part of that onboarding process. Renovo, you hear us talk a lot about Renovo. It's an application that you can go in, you self-administer, you need to update your profile, make sure you review it often, and make sure that you update any skills and experience or certifications you have. This next one, I can't stress enough. Follow us on social media. We are out there. We post when things are happening. You know, we're sharing industry information on a regular basis. We're pretty active in Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. I would encourage you to follow Crawford and be a part of that community because there's information there. Check our CAT website. The website for updates and especially additional training opportunities. I think there was a question I saw about how do I find training opportunities. It's all on our website, and we can share those links and make sure you have access to it. I would encourage you to be prepared. Have your tools, have your equipment ready to go, and stay tuned to the Weather Channel. Know what's happening and know what's going on, and know whether or not you would be interested. And probably the number one thing I would encourage you to do is be responsive when we reach out. You know, it can be a pretty hectic time when we're in the middle of a deployment and we're trying to ramp up and you know, if you just the simple fact of answering your phone and be ready to go, be ready to say yes, be ready to say I want to work and be ready to go is a big deal. When you say, hey, I'll call you back or I need something, or if you have to leave a message and we get into phone tag, sometimes that, you know, you may miss the boat. And so the most important thing is to stay in touch, be engaged with us, and take advantage of the opportunities that we have to be engaged with you.
Thanks, Robert. Ben Mandel has another great question here. Are there opportunities with Crawford for other than Allstate or State Farm? And that's, you know, that's an absolute yes. Buddy, I would ask that you maybe take a stab at that question. I may pile on at the end, and maybe Tom Melton too. I mean, you both represent sort of those other two facets of the of our operation. So maybe, Buddy, you go first.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of like I said a few minutes ago, we have our Citizens of Florida. We have 4 contracts over there that really come into play when hurricane hits Florida. We have the Hartford, which we do a lot of work for across the country. It's mainly field work, but we are trying to stand up some desk opportunities there. We have a new client in Giovera, where right now in Atlanta, I have 40 people at the desk with 2 managers there. And we just finished up a field deployment for Winter Storm Uri in Texas. We do work for farmers year round. So absolutely, we have tons of opportunity outside of Allstate and State Farm.
Tom Melton, anything you want to add?
Yes, you know, again, we have a lot of contracts, a lot of clients that we're bringing to the table. As an example, we do a lot of work with Lloyd's, Universal Property. We have a lot of commercial contracts that we're dealing with, so Chubb, AIG, just to name a few. So we have a lot of opportunities coming up. We had a lot of opportunities this past season. So there are going to be plenty of opportunities in the future for you to join our team and work for Crawford.
Thanks, Tom. You know, what I would add to that is that where we're best is true diversity of our roster in terms of skill sets, capabilities. You know, you found that what we see in the industry right now is there's still a huge staffing play where we're putting people in clients' offices, working within their systems. We have our own desk operations as well. You know, in a COVID and pandemic environment, there's much more interest, obviously, in trying to work remotely, work virtual. So that's why we're doubling down on these technologies like Hover and Planer and putting those out there to be, you know, resources to our client base. But it comes down to your skills. I mean, and I see there's a question. Richard Otney put in a comment, not so much a question, about interested in what he's working in and based on his skill sets. It's critical that Renovo reflect your skill sets, because that is our sourcing engine. Because you may or may not know this, but we have clients that we give access to that platform as well, so that they can go in and look at your performance records, look at your skills, and then self-select teams as well. So we really want Renovo has to be a true picture of your capabilities. And then where you want to enhance those capabilities, it's you use the training mechanisms we have. And if you find that we have training or training gaps, Jeff Conrad and his team are going to help build out the training, not just from boot camp and basic, but all the way through the spectrum to help, make you the most well-rounded resource in the industry itself. Stay on top of technology, stay on top of, get your exact level 2 certification and keep chasing that. And we'll make sure we keep those tools available to you. Just going through, I think we answered the hate course question. Great comment from Fred Hopper, basically getting a lot of support out of the Dallas operation and the resource team there. I think Buddy and a couple people have mentioned this. The support that we provide is how we want to stand out, not just through training, but when you're deployed as well, is making sure that you have the people to help you through. We're bringing a lot of new people into this industry through training as well, and we know how daunting it can be to be first out of the gates on that. So we just want to absolutely put the right net in place. And this leadership team and the experience on the teams that are behind them are what make the difference there. I think we answered the how can I register for training? We touched on that. That's on the adjuster section of the Crawford CAT website. And then there's a comment here. Hello, I've tried several times to enroll with the CAT team, no callbacks as of yet. So in this document that's attached, the content document, there are 4 email addresses. So, you're welcome to reach out to me. My email address and phone number are there. Anybody on the resource team, DeVita, call the 800 CAT number, which we'll publish along with that with this, but do follow up with us because we have had reported issues between ISEMS, which is our HR recruiting platform, and our Renovo platform of people getting hung between the 2 states and they think they've applied, not sure they've applied. I heard a lot of this at NACA. We want to make sure we get you unstuck if you've been stuck in that process. Tom Hopper mentions the Citizens Program. And who is Crawford's point person for farmers? And that would be Buddy. Are you okay with me putting you on the spot for that, Buddy?
What was that?
It says, who is the point person for farmers? Our account executive is Terry Teron, who owns the relationship. I know Jared Murrieta, who runs CAT for farmers personally. So we've been engaged with them ever since Harvey. They're a very good customer. They're actually, we have some technology ventures under the way with them right now, but they've been they're a very good CAT customer because when they turn on the faucet, they turn it on pretty wide open.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We had 2 great deployments with them last year with Hurricane Laura in Louisiana. And then we also did a deployment up to the Northwest in Utah and Oregon, which turned out to be a great deployment also. So yeah, they've already reached out to us on a couple of storms this year. So we're excited to see what this year brings with farmers.
So I got a recent question from Fred. How are the opportunities for a new adjuster? Robert, do you want to take that from a training aspect?
Yeah, sure, Ken. I mean, look, we're training a lot of new people, and we're absolutely interested in bringing on new talent. If you've got, I don't understand or know, based on what we're talking about here, what level you are, if you've just gotten your license or if you've been to training class, but there's plenty of new entry-level training classes that we're doing. There's a lot of different training that's going on. We're consistently running training. I think someone mentioned earlier in Allen, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia. We're soon to add some training facilities or opportunities in Florida. And so, ultimately, the more training you do, the better you will be. Training is something that it's hard to put into words until you actually go through the training and then you actually get into the field. But we've got support in the field that we provide to our adjusters on a regular basis. And so, look, we're in it with you. We're in it with you to make you a better person or a better adjuster, and that's what it's all about. And so, we've got tremendous support built into the process. We know that the first time you do a deployment, it's going to be there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of challenges around that, and so we want to put the support mechanism around you, not only training prior to the event, but training during the event, orientation, and then support in the support rooms that we set up at each location.
Thanks, Robert. There are a couple more refining questions around Mancat, and also there's Richard. You put your profile into the chat here. We'll make sure to connect you with Tom Melton. But Tom, there's a question. How long is a typical Mancat deployment? You want to take a stab at that?
Yes, they've actually can be as short as 2 days. That we had one out to California here last month. We sent the adjuster out. We expected we were going to have a bunch of claims, and it actually turned into a non-event. To that short side, we've had adjusters out 8 months, 10 months on a Mancat. So there's a wide range. I would say the average Mancat tends to be in the 30 to 60 days is usually how long it takes us to wrap up an event. And again, it's just based on size. So we've had Mancats as small as one adjuster, and we've had Mancats as big as having 80 to 90 adjusters on one event. When we have a big event like that, then we've got to have a lot of managers involved as well. So when we have those big events like that, it's a big team effort, and there's a lot going on, and we find what your skill set is and put you into what you can do best on the Mancat. So again, you don't have to have a lot of experience. Mancats typically it's all training on the job. So don't be afraid to reach out to us.
Thanks, Tom. There's one question here, anonymous question. I recently got my adjuster's license and PNC adjuster's license. Are there any positions available at Crawford and Company? I want to do CAT. So critical that we get you at least into one of our boot camp type training, because we use the training session. Full disclosure is also an evaluation period, because it's one thing to be technically skilled, but you also have to have the right attitude and empathy and attention to detail to be really excellent at this job and to be really noticed and really make a difference with in the field. And you got to have that drive. So we're looking for that sort of extra skill, that's something just above and beyond. So we really want to get to know you through our training process as well. And we're going to expand the sites for that outside of Dallas and Atlanta. We're going to hold a couple sessions in Florida, and then we'll move them where there's demand beyond that. But we've trained a lot of people since we really ramped up training since Q4 of last year, and we're committed to training on a continuous basis, provided the environment allows us. We saw a little downward turn because of the Dallas event. It takes out people from the industry, so we'll slow down when times get crazy busy. But when it's a little slower, like we're seeing after that event now, we want to double down on training and get as many people through as possible. But it's our way to get to know you as well. So go look at the website. Let's find a way to get you into one of our classes so that we can evaluate and get you the training you need to be successful as well. Daily claims, I'll take this question, and I know we're about out of time. We're running up on the hour here. But from a daily claim standpoint, yes, we do. Actually, about our fourth largest customer is our daily claim operations in terms of sourcing people into our what we call our field operations team scattered across the U.S. We continually have demand from them, and it creates an opportunity for you to be engaged on a long-term basis, depending on need. So we absolutely do have that opportunity. Davita Griggs and her team in Atlanta source that team for the 13 service regions around the country. And I'm just running through the rest of the questions. We'll share. Okay, Tom's posted our Crawford CAT website, and I think we've touched on all the questions at this point. So I'm going to ask my colleagues if anybody has anything else they want to add or any comments they think we've overlooked before I wrap up.
Hey, Ken, this is Robert. If I could, I would just say one thing before, as we go through this, guys, we are trying to reach out. We want you to be engaged. We appreciate those of you who took the time to help participate, but don't hesitate to give us feedback. Give it to your manager. We're going to put up our information, our contact information. I'm absolutely open. I know Ken is. I know both Toms are, and as well as Buddy. We want your feedback. We're trying to make a little bit of a different role here. We're trying to, everything that you're hearing is very intentional. When we ask you for your feedback, we mean it. And we're obviously hoping that you will pass the word on and share that. If you have a good experience with Crawford, help us get the word out, because there's plenty of opportunity, there's plenty of room for growth, and there's plenty of deployment opportunities. But the more people we have available, the more we can sell it and the more we can get involved and create additional longer term opportunities. Again, I can't stress enough, follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, and we're on Instagram. Make sure that you follow us. And if something happening good, like it, share it, help us get the word out there, and we would greatly appreciate that.
Thanks, Robert. That's really well said, and I don't have a lot to add onto that. I think that the key is that we really are listening. We want to be, our brand, we expect to be synonymous with excellence in the claims administration, claims solution space in the P&C industry in the U.S. and even outside the U.S. We have about 9,000 employees deployed globally. And we operate in 77 countries, but the U.S. is by far our largest market, and it's where we started, and it's where we probably have the greatest brand awareness. But that brand is synonymous with just service excellence, and we know that we won't be excellent at service without having the best people and having the best people on this team in the right way, the right people to support them so that they can get their job done. So I thank you again for your time tonight. Do reach out, take advantage of this team. I think it is indeed a great time to be a part of this team, and we want to keep growing, keep expanding, keep bringing opportunities to you. So I thank you, and we'll talk again soon.